Asmongold, the anorexic, decrepit chicken-looking dude who sims for every woman on the internet, is gonna do it again. Now, I don't know what this is all about, but I have a vague feeling, so let's see.
People are mad at Alana because she made a video talking about Elden Ring's difficulty. I'm going to watch this and see what's being said, and we'll get into the controversy of this. Here we go.
So listen up, Miyazaki. Elden Ring's DLC is too hard. I have like a couple of like kind of very different branching.
Didn't Asmongold quit Elden Ring's DLC because he said, "It's too hard, I can't finish it, but I don't want to die 300 times"? And then he couldn't deal with the backlash that people called him a loser, and instantaneously he needed to protect his frail self and ego, and he finished it. Or maybe he didn't finish it. I'm not sure what the outcome was, but man, people were laughing at him so hard for not finishing it and saying, "It's just too hard."
Takes to make in this video. I am going to talk about accessibility.
She's
and
obviously
why I think
around.
accessibility is really important, and how common of a conversation accessibility is where FromSoft games are concerned, and why I do think it would be great if disabled players could play Elden Ring, even though it is already currently their most accessible game. There's a lot of room for improvement. But we're all
I hate this argument. I hate the accessibility argument, okay? It's very cool when you can play a game when you're colorblind, or, you know, there are other alternative options to play games when you're disabled. That's a great thing for you, right? No one's gonna argue with that. But when you literally go around and demand that disabled people be able to play every game to its fullest, and because of that the game needs to completely change, be redesigned, or whatever, I think that you just lost the plot. Now, the reality is disabled people are a minority in this world. Disabled gamers are also a minority, and, you know, changing, reworking, or doing whatever with your game for maybe what 100 people is not worth it. It's not even a contemplation, honestly.
also going to talk about.
I feel like you could play Elden Ring if you're disabled. I'm gonna be honest. Like, you just have to play the right build. You play my build. Play my build.
His build. Someone comment below when he says his build. Did the chat once again just tell him something that's completely broken, one-shots the bosses so even he could finish the game?
You can play it. You beat the whole game.
There are a bunch of negative reviews on Steam for Elden Ring because Shadow of the Erd Tree is considered too hard. I never thought we would get to a landscape where people will admit that they found a FromSoft game too hard. Like, even if people do, I never thought...
Well, this has happened with every single time. It has. It's happened every time, and they've already nerfed the DLC. This is another component a lot of people might forget. They nerfed the DLC. They changed the way the Shadow Tree fragments worked, and they increased the cap that they give you. So it already happened.
That they would admit.
Did they really? Yeah.
Now, it's worth noting that the presence of this has been a little bit exaggerated. A lot of the negative reviews on Steam are also people complaining about the performance problems, which are there.
Yeah, that's the main
reason. And that's a separate story that I've spoken about before that people did not want to hear.
They didn't increase the cap. They did actually increase the cap. Go back and read the patch notes again.
Which is that, yeah, FromSoft really gets...
Bro, reading patch notes for a game like Elden Ring just sounds wrong, not gonna lie.
The pass for a lot of things sometimes.
Yeah.
Like, the reviews were all 10 out of 10, even though most of these people are playing on PC, and there are PC performance problems with these games. Those are totally valid.
People are saying in the comments 5% maybe. That's funny. So, well, it's a nerf, I guess.
And thankfully have been patched. So, though, has the difficulty. There are, like, two sides of this, right? Okay. There's a thing when people talk about FromSoft games that I always find really interesting. People will say, but it's part of the appeal that, like, you're fighting something really hard and then you finally overcome it. That's part of the appeal of the games.
Yeah?
No. While there are things that FromSoft games do incredibly well, like, I am obsessed with their boss designs and their animation. Like, for all the things we love about it, their bosses are so impressive in terms of art direction and animation. They don't even...
Literally could not give less of a single shit.
Need to be. Like, oh my god, they're just
They're
so
great.
good at that. The sense of discovery is unparalleled. The uniqueness of the world is near unparalleled. Like there are a lot of things that FromSoft games do really well. But
Yeah.
saying part of the appeal is beating the, but it's not part of the appeal. It's the
It is the entire appeal, right?
Thank you. Thank God.
entire design of the game. It's the whole.
Yes,
Yes.
thank God. Please. Yes.
Dude, I thought she's gonna mess it up. I thought she's gonna mess it up.
Can I please stop hearing about people that hit one button while moving on the right around the boss for like 10 seconds about how this is all about difficulty? Please fucking stop. If you put
Wait. Difficulty is a huge part of it, you complete illiterate buffoon. No. You can't even remove difficulty from this conversation, you idiot. Why does it matter to beat bosses in this game? Can anyone think of a single reason? Oh yeah, that's because they're hard. That's what gives these bosses that great feeling when you defeat them. This is why that matters. You can't remove the difficulty. Who would be excited about Elden Ring or any Souls game if every creature just died instantaneously when you spotted it and then you can pick up their loot? Do you think that this franchise would be so successful if that was the case? Obviously not.
put these people that fucking jerk themselves off about how good they are at Elden Ring or one of these.
Okay, so he literally played some kind of dumb one-shot build because otherwise he would not have finished Elden Ring, and now he's defending the people who used completely 100% broken builds to actually win the game. Is that what's happening? Because this is what I'm piecing together. I don't know how Asmongold finished the game.
These From Software games in a competitive PvP game, they would get rolled over in seconds.
Okay.
They would get destroyed. It's not about.
Okay, yes, comparing apples to oranges. If you're good in Elden Ring bosses, that doesn't mean you're amazing in Counter-Strike competitive. Yeah, probably not. But why are you comparing apples to oranges?
About being good at the game. That's not the point. If you want to be really good at a game, go play a game against other people.
Game. It is the
Complete fallacy.
core ethos, the core
Not something that's programmed to let you win.
game design of any FromSoft game is that you are supposed to approach a boss.
No Dark Souls game is programmed to make you win. There is no such thing as a boss where you just stand still and it just kills itself because it's programmed to make you win.
Be willing to die the first several times as you assess their moveset, you figure out the puzzle that is beating this boss.
Yes.
You've retained information about
Yes.
their movesets, about what kills you, about how you can avoid it, and you roll into them. And then after a certain amount of
And you
deaths,
get
which
his
are
ass.
to be totally expected.
That's right.
If you beat an Elden Ring boss in less than like 3 deaths, in my opinion,
Why is the guy who gave up and said, "Oh, it's too hard. I don't want to die 100 times killing a boss," saying now these things?
that's an RNG fluke and not you playing the game well. The
Except whenever it's me, and it's actually because I have a broken build.
big,
But
big
yeah,
part of the game is learning how that stuff works. That's the point. You
Yeah, so someone just told him a build that just one-shots bosses. Very cool, very cool.
go in there, you gather that data, and then you finally beat them. That is the point of these games. The whole point is for them to be extremely challenging. I do think that people complaining about the Shadow of Erdtree DLC should get good. By which I mean just pay attention to the things the game gives you that can make it.
Yeah, we have seen a couple of people play Elden Ring at this point, and the average player is just fucking insane. I talked about this. We watched multiple videos where people are just like, okay, he's doing this wide swing thing to play it, and he gets knocked off. He can't do it. He can't hit the thing that he's trying to hit. What is player's decision now? Learn from your mistakes, adapt, and try something else? Or do the exact same thing, that you failed at just now under the exact same circumstances and expect a different outcome. We're literally back. Watching some people play Elden Ring is like watching the definition of insanity. They don't take anything from a fight, they don't take anything from what happened, and they just go back in and try the same one move swing attack, and that's it. It is crazy. It is really crazy.
Way easier. That's not to say you're not allowed to complain, okay? We are also really weird. I'm already tangenting inside my tangent. We are really weird about acting like From some games can't be criticized. They are immune to criticism. Like, you are allowed to...
Of course they can be criticized. I think they have a very, very, very active community of people who are... I think FromSoft games in general are very successful because because it is a niche game that gave a lot of people who wanted achievement, progress, and success in their lives, but couldn't get it. And now there's this almost hard game out there that they can actually do and feel good about themselves because a lot of other people can't do it. You know? Again, I'm a Lost Ark supremacist. Absolutely no question about it. I look at Elden Ring, and I see what the bosses do, and I'm like, no, this is not even worth my time playing. This is too easy. Look at this. This boss has 3 patterns of attack. I play Lost Ark. I'm used to bosses with 14 mechanics each. That some are almost the same thing, but there's a pixel in a different location, and you need to notice that. Otherwise, it's bad.
I think that you can have a conversation about difficulty in something without necessarily... Like, the problem is that you can never approach a conversation about difficulty in a video game in good faith on the internet, because the majority of people that want to partake in that conversation are only doing so in order to basically look for reassurance or approval for what they've already done. Like, they're looking for somebody to tell them, wow, you're really good at the game, or they're looking for a point where they can brag about, oh, I'm so good at this. Yeah, they're trying to flex, right? So, like, nobody...
Yes, but that's not most people.
At any point...
That would at best be a single side, maybe. But I don't even think that's the Elden Ring side of the conversation. I think that's a minority of people. Again, there are people who say, oh, if you use a summon, you can't play Elden Ring because you're bad. And, you know, there is actually a group of people that believe that. They believe if you use summons, you're bad at Elden Ring, you're bad at Dark Souls and all of that stuff. While at the same time, these people are the same ones. In fact, they are pretty much the first ones that instantaneously will just snoop for the most overpowered builds that are completely busted and can defeat bosses in a couple of swings. And then they use that. But you see, summons are lame and they are 0 skill. Well, using completely broken mechanics that are not intended to even work in those ways are completely fine.
Is ever really thinking about, is this a interesting metric of difficulty? Is this a good vector of challenge? Or is it just something that's needlessly hard for no reason? And it's like, why is something hard? Because why something is hard matters more than if it's hard or not, in my opinion. There's a lot of bosses, like, for example, the Final Fantasy 16 bosses, like Titan and Bahamut. They're really not that hard to do, but they're amazing bosses. They're great. They're like the pinnacle of the game. But that's not because they're challenging. It's because they're fun.
Can't comment on FF. I have literally no clue.
So I think that you can create challenge and you can also create fun at the same time, but they're not necessarily tied to each other one-to-one. But you can't have these conversations on the internet because people have such a big ego about it. And I think that's what the biggest issue is. People have such a really, really massive ego about these games, and they don't want to relinquish that.
Said the guy who bans everyone who disagrees him in chat. Okay.
Complain about finding it too hard or feeling like a certain boss isn't balanced or feeling like a hitbox is... Like, you can complain about those things and be valid. Stop acting...
Yeah, like hitboxes in certain games are bad. Animations in certain games are bad. But the problem is that hitboxes, like bad hitboxes and bad animations, make a game harder. But they make the game harder in a way that's bad. So what ends up happening is that you have people that are unable to distinguish between the two things. So like from their perspective, they hear, oh, this makes the game harder, then it's good. I beat this, then it's fine.
Yeah, he has a point. That is true.
Being able to overcome bad design.
Having an animation that is intentionally made to be actually hard to distinguish, and when that animation has multiple patterns in it, then you need to figure out and you need to get accustomed which one is which. And you know, the difference is, I don't know, like a swoosh there and instead of swoosh there. That is skill. That is skill. But having a bad hitbox is just stupid. Or having a bad animation or choreography or anything like that is just bad. Think Diablo 4, the original Lilith fight. When, you know, you're here, something happens here, and you still get hit. Well, admittedly, a part of skill would be understanding, wait a minute, the hitbox for that attack is way bigger, so I need to stand even more further away. But the fact of the matter still stays. It is true. It's just a stupid mechanic made like that because the hitbox is completely messed up. It's true.
Does not make it good design. And that's a big problem that a lot of people have with understanding game difficulty.
Acting like any criticism of a FromSoft game makes you a fake gamer. First tangent completed. I apologize. Back to the video. Course correcting. Patch dropped for the DLC, meaning
no one cares.
This to me would indicate that FromSoft.
There's something about the kid she talks about, like kids and pausing. I want to see that.
Gonna lean over a little.
The hell is this?
Kind of agrees with the criticisms, which is pretty nuts. Miyazaki did say that he wanted Shadow of the Erdtree to be the hardest thing they ever made, and it seems like that worked very well. People are finding it extremely difficult, even people who have been a long-time FromSoft fan. That was the intention. I mean, it would have been...
Being a long-time fan of something doesn't mean that you're good. There are countless people who have played, you know, League of Legends for 10 years, Dota for 10 years, and, you know, other games for 10 years plus, and they literally are below the middle of the pack. Being a long-time fan of something doesn't mean you're good at it, or doesn't mean that your opinion honestly even matters.
Crazy to let you just like finish Elden Ring and then just continue as though you were still playing Elden Ring. Like they did have to up the difficulty for the DLC to even justify its own existence, in my opinion. But basically, attack and damage negation curve scaling of the Shadow Realm blessings have been revised. The attack and damage negation has been increased for the first half of the maximum amount of blessing enhancements, and the second half will now be more gradual. The attack and damage negation granted by the final level of blessing enhancements has been slightly increased. So again, I take...
And that does make a huge difference, by the way. Like, if you go and you watch somebody playing through the DLC right now, and you look at how much damage they're taking, like, let's say they just came into the DLC and they have like 4 or 6 fragments, and then you go back to the first day streams, it is a massive fucking difference. It's huge. So yes, they did do it.
This to mean that they like kind of agree, and they were like, oh, we maybe did make this too hard. Okay, how bad?
50%? Wow. Accessibility, like the logic, right, is like you hear accessibility feature and you're thinking, oh, you're disabled. It's like, these are made for...
Boss. Coolest thing about Elden Ring in general, for again, where accessibility is concerned, when you play FromSoft games are concerned, is that you could just leave at any time. Go find these. The DLC will become easier for you. That is, they put it in there for you, and I
don't have to collect every single one.
These games are hard. We should be allowed to criticize things we don't like about them. They're not immune to criticism. I do feel like Shadow of the Erdtree literally has told you the thing that you can do to make it easier.
Okay.
But same time, them patching it would imply to me that they were also like, maybe a bit much, which is funny. I'm not telling you to get good. I'm telling you to use all of the features available to you to cater your experience, which is the coolest thing about accessibility in general. It is time to talk about the incredibly cool Virtual Pro XR glasses. If you haven't heard me talk about them before, customization options. So this is the second half of this video, where I'm going to talk specifically about accessibility and even... just a lot of people really not understand.
People have been mad at her on Twitter about this.
Yeah,
so I'm actually...
So what's the deal, actually? Is her kid retarded and that's why she needs Elden Ring, or what's the deal with the pause button?
I'm really curious to see what's going on. I'm very curious.
the conversation.
Yeah, this
about
was what I was
accessibility in
interested
Elden Ring.
in.
It has been brought up various times across various mediums by various people that Elden Ring is not, or FromSoft games in general, are not particularly accessible to disabled players. When people are asking for accessibility, I'm not actually asking
Play Magic.
for an easy mode. That isn't the
true.
intent. Here's the thing I want to spell out where accessibility is concerned. People who are disabled, I felt myself doing it, I'm going to do it, is another tangent. There are also multiple kinds of disabilities, especially where gaming is concerned. There are long-term disabilities. There are situational.
No. Long-term could be... That's still in general disability, and situational disability is complete bullshit that doesn't exist.
Disabilities, there are temporary disabilities.
Temporary disabilities are
it counts as a
real.
disability where a video game like Elden Ring is concerned. If you have a kid, you have a 2-year-old, you're trying to play Elden Ring, you can't pause.
Ah, okay, yeah. This is something along the lines that I understood that was the problem. Yeah, this opinion is completely stupid, garbage, trash, and you should feel bad for saying it.
It is a situational disability that you have, where the game not having the option for you to be able to pause, for example, is a hindrance for your particular...
No, a hindrance for your particular gaming experience, or whatever you want to call it, is the fact that you are fully aware that you have a kid. You are fully aware that that kid requires stuff, things, time, resources, and whatnot, and you fucking went and played Elden Ring. Okay? That is not a disability. That is just being fucking stupid.
Disability, a situational disability. You may need to pause to stop your kid from putting a fork into a socket.
Yeah, how about buying those things that prevent that from happening? How about hiding the forks? No, the fact that you have a kid is not a disability. The fact that Elden Ring doesn't have a pause button so you can, stop your kid from cleansing the gene pool is not a disability. This is stupid.
Power outlet. In Australia, we call power outlets PowerPoints. But when I moved to the US,
So this is why people were so mad? They're mad about this?
No, it's
why would
stupid.
they be mad about this? She's completely right. I think the reason why...
About what? Having a kid making you disabled?
Why people are mad about this is because she used the word...
She also used the handicap spot.
...word disability. And
yes, obviously people are mad because she used the word disability. It's pretty damn intentional.
People are thinking one-dimensionally about the word disability.
Why would people need to think multi-dimensionally or whatever kind of random bunk you're gonna spew out now, loser? Why would we need to care?
Like being in a wheelchair. But if you think about disability as something that interferes with your ability to play the game,
then it's no longer a disability. It's called stupidity.
Then it makes sense.
Yeah, but we don't do that because we're not autistic. Idiot. You see, this is why Asmongold is the worst of the worst. Okay. We have this word, disability, that is very specific and does very specific things. And now I'm gonna make the word disability refer to ant colonies in my backyard, but only in my backyard. Okay? Is everyone fine? No, of course no one's fine with it. Yeah, this is stupid.
She's saying is completely logically true.
No, it's not even remotely closely logically true unless you switch the whole goddamn world upside down to make it true. Yeah, God, I hate you.
And just as I suspected, the Twitter clip is completely misinterpreting this. Do you think she's stopped a chick to park in a handicap zone because she thinks having kids is a disability? It is unbelievable to me. And you remember, I've said this many times.
Wait, this is correct. This is something that you would expect. Hey. If having a kid is a disability because you can't play video games constantly, then having feet is also a disability because they can start hurting when you move. Again, we can't stretch these words to encompass everything because Asmongold feels that he needs to white knight her.
Times.
Asmund, she doesn't even have an OnlyFans. She's not your type.
That if you want to figure out what is the dumbest, most surface level thing,
then ask Asmongold to give you an in-depth explanation about anything.
That the person with the lowest IQ on the face of the fucking planet can think of.
Yeah, you just go and open an Asmongold video where he talks about anything that's remotely even close to life.
That's the most popular tweet. That's what the average discussion is going to be about.
We didn't
there it
see
is.
The tweet,
that is
though.
the quote they used. That's right. What an unbelievable, complete.
Wait, they didn't use any quotes. They used this a quote, and then they're explaining what does she mean, or they are implying. This is not disingenuous. This is a normal thing.
Fucking misinterpretation. This is insane. And it's crazy how popular this shit is. People are
yeah, because what she's saying is fucking stupid.
So fucking stupid. But having kids isn't a disability. Words matter.
Yeah.
Disability is any condition of the body or mind that makes it more difficult for the person with the condition to do a certain activity. You are getting caught.
So we're gonna just... okay, so anything is now a disability. Okay. I have a hand, and I'm gonna use this hand to use the mouse. But I can't exactly pixel perfect place my mouse where I want to. So now I'm disabled. By that logic, the answer is 100 yes, Slay Queen, yeah.
Caught up about vocabulary.
Of course we're caught up about vocabulary. Words matter. If we don't have language, we can't even talk about this. You can't just take something that has a completely independent meaning, that has nothing to do with what's happening, and then just fucking flip it because you feel like you want it to actually be there.
Be honest. Why does the vocabulary matter at all? Why
I just said.
Are you thinking about the vocabulary? There's an idea that's clearly trying.
Why can't Asmongold say the N-word on stream without repercussions? Because the vocabulary doesn't matter, as he said.
To be conveyed. You are aggressively trying to misunderstand the idea. Think that it...
I can't aggressively, in fact, misunderstand an idea that is already incorrect. Her words have no meaning because she's saying that having kids is a disability. And this person is completely right, because she literally says that. Having kids is a disability because I can't play Elden Ring. There's nothing for me to aggressively misunderstand it because there has not been even a single formulation of a sentence worth value in the first place.
It's something else. When everybody knows that's clearly not what she's saying.
Well, if she's not clearly saying that, Mr. Fucking Logic, then why is she clearly saying that? It's like when Hassan... This is just another time Asmongold is just defending someone and saying, yes, they literally just said that. We saw them say that. We heard them say that. And they elaborated their reasoning for saying this. And it was stupid. But I actually think, as always, because I'm Asmongold, that they didn't actually say that. Remember when Hassan said do bad things? Well, he didn't actually mean it. I know he spent 5 minutes explaining why he in particular means exactly what he said, but I am Asmongold. I am smarter. I know that he didn't really intend this. He's such an idiot. He is such an unbelievable moron. It's insane. This is what happens when you just put your head so far up yourself you can't even... You start to see a light suddenly. Okay, this is insanity. I'm out. Bye.